Thank you, handbells. Our opening words this morning are by the Reverend Joan Javier Duval. As the world shifts beneath us, we seek steadiness, the unwavering support of community, the principled guidance of wise teachings, the faithful turning of the seasons. We seek within ourselves and in one another a devotion to all that is true, all that is just, all that is beautiful. We gather here to reground ourselves and to reorient toward our heart's calling. Here we hold on to what is good, what we believe, and what we must do. With resolute and compassionate hearts, let us worship together. Lily had to step away for a moment, so imagine me with long hair and about 45 years younger. Con espíritu de reverencia, reconocemos que nos juntamos en la tierra de los Kumeyaay. Al encender esta vela, reafirmamos nuestro compromiso de cultivar relaciones significativas con los habitantes de esta tierra y de trabajar juntos por la justicia y la equidad. In a spirit of reverence, we acknowledge that we gather on the land of the Kumeyaay. As we light this candle, we affirm our commitment to cultivate meaningful relationships with the people of this land and to work together for justice and equity.
Please rise in body or spirit. We are singing a new hymn today, The Web of Life. The lyrics will be on the screen, so please join in whenever you feel ready. Sharing our journey together, bearing our grief together, the web of life hold us in this truth. We are not alone, striving for change together, healing our pain together. The web of life hold us in this truth. We are not alone, journeying on together, learning to love more together. The web of life hold us in this truth. We are not alone.
Good morning, friends, and welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Diego, where we worship each Sunday in the South Bay, in Hillcrest, and online. Our mission is to create community, nurture spiritual growth, and act on our values to heal the world. Before I continue, we're getting some feedback from a hearing aid. So if you are a hearing aid wearing individual, can you double check it, make sure it's placed in there right, and maybe turn down a little bit? I am Tony Bianca. I use the pronouns he, him, and I serve as your Director of Spiritual Exploration and Worship Arts. This morning, I have the pleasure of introducing our new accompanist, Phil Daniels. So this is really a reintroduction. Reverend Justine introduced him to you a few weeks ago when he was here accompanying the women's choir. What she didn't tell you at that time was that service was the second and final round of an audition process, and he passed, clearly. And because I see puzzled faces, and I suspect some of you are thinking the same thing, I want to tell you to fear not. Tomas is not going anywhere. But yeah, you fear that too. Back when Marshall left to pursue his master's degree, we never really officially hired a new accompanist. And so we're doing that now, and I'm excited to have both Phil and Tomas here making beautiful music together and with us. So if you are visiting, I would like to extend a special welcome. I invite you to fill out the visitor form in your order of service and return it to the welcome table out on the patio. If you're joining us online, you can also fill out a visitor form at the link on the live stream page or on the YouTube service description. We would love to connect with you. If you've been coming for a while and are starting to feel like this is your spiritual home, consider becoming a member of this beloved community. If you would like to explore what it means to become a member or have questions about the membership process, you are invited to meet with somebody right up here. Oh, there we go. Right up here after the service in the front. Newt is back there. He will be up here to meet you after the service. Welcome to this space. Bring all of who you are. In all the beauty of languages, cultures, and skin tones that come together in your uniqueness, you are welcome here. In all the ways you experience and express gender, you are welcome here. In the beauty that is who you love and how you love, you are welcome here. In all the ways you live, move, and experience your embodied self, you are welcome here. With all the religious and ethical traditions that inform your spiritual life, you are welcome here. Together, may we live into our shared values with love at the center. It is good to be together.
Please rise in body spirit again, please, and join me singing our church hymn.
May the quest for truth be its sacrament and service be its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, and to help one another in fellowship. This is our aspiration. Que el amor sea la doctrina de esta iglesia, la búsqueda de la verdad su sacramento y el servicio su oración. Vivir juntos en paz, buscar la verdad con libertad y ayudarnos mutuamente en comunidad. A eso aspiramos.
Good morning again, friends. I'd like to invite any of the children or youth who'd like to come down and join me for our time for all ages. Good morning. Oh, good morning. Oh, new friends. Nice. Hi. There's some space up here. So, friends, we're thinking about today building our future and how we can maybe raise some funds to get us there. And so our time for all ages today is called What We'll Build? Plans for Our Future. What shall we build, you and I? Let's gather all our tools for a start, for putting together and taking apart. Let's build a door where there was none. We'll build a house to be our home. If you build the future, and I'll build your future and you'll build mine. We'll build a watch to keep our time. We'll build some love to set aside and build a hole where we can hide. Yeah, sometimes we just need to hide. A fortress to keep our enemies out and higher walls for when they shout. But you don't always lose and you don't always win, so we'll build a gate to let them in. We'll build a table to drink our tea and say, I'm sorry, me too, me three. We'll build a tower to watch the sky and other worlds that pass us by. Let's build a tunnel to anywhere. Let's build a road up to the moon. Let's build a comfy place to rest, for we'll be tired soon. Let's build a boat that can't be broken, that will not sink or be cracked open. A place to stay when all is lost, to keep the things we love the most. We'll put these favorite things beside the earlier love we set aside. I think that we may want them later when times are hard and needs are greater. But first things first, let's build a fire, for we've planned a lot and now we're tired. I'll keep us warm like when we're born. Then we'll say goodnight as all's all right. These are the things we'll build, you and I. The end. Well, friends, I hope that you will build this future with me. I'm excited to build it with you. And we're going to do something a little different. We're going to stay here, hear a little bit from Reverend Justine, and then I have some fun with that bridge over there for us.
Yes, this morning I'm excited to announce that we are launching the Doug Diamond Memorial Capital Campaign and Fund Drive. Yes. Beloved longtime member Doug Diamond, now of blessed memory, served for many years on our finance team, and it was Doug's fervent wish that we pay off our mortgage as part of our path toward financial sustainability. It bugged him to no end that we were spending money on interest, paying money to a bank, instead of investing in our future. So as part of our overall move toward a sustainable future, I invited our beloved member Craig Darling to lead a capital campaign with me, and together we approached Alice Diamond to see how she would feel about us naming this campaign in honor of Doug. Alice was delighted, and she has been a great support to us as we have embarked on this endeavor. So in addition to paying off the mortgage of about $1.4 million, this fund drive will also allow us to make some modest improvements to this space. If you were at the opera last night, we probably won't build a castle. But we would like to enlarge the chancel so that we can all fit up here, part of our growing, and make some other modest changes and beautification moves around the campus. Improving the lighting, assisted listening systems, and also some better lighting for the Bard Hall Gallery. So those are just some of the things that we will be able to do with this fund drive. Now, it is best practice in the world of leading capital campaigns to begin by reaching out to the people who have the means to give generously in the early so-called quiet phase of the campaign. And so we have done that. And now Tony is going to tell us more about our progress to date, and then we'll be hearing more about the campaign from Craig in his sermon. And after worship, we will enjoy a lovely lunch in Bard Hall. So please stay for lunch and celebrate this launch of this campaign as we move into our bright future. Take it away, Tony.
So, friends, when I said earlier that we would hear from Reverend Justine and then talk about the bridge, Ethan said, "What bridge? There's a bridge?" And there is. If you've missed it, it's right over here. Since this is the Bridge to Our Future capital campaign, instead of one of those big tacky thermometers in the back of church to track how much we've raised, we're going to track it by crossing this bridge to our future. And as we collect more money, our chalice will move across the bridge. So it'll start down here and it'll move this way till we get to 100%, which if you haven't done percentages in math yet, 100% means we've collected it all. 0 means we haven't collected any. So you just heard Reverend Justine say that they've already started asking a few people who can give very generously to give some money. And so I wonder if you can help me figure out where we are. We're not going to tell you the dollar amount yet. Craig's going to tell you that later. But we're going to talk about the percentages. So friends, considering we sort of just started, right? Do you think, excuse me, Miss Kate, do you think we have nothing yet? Do you think nobody gave anything yet? No, they probably gave something, right? You can be as loud as you want in this part, by the way, kiddos. Do you think maybe we've got like 10%? A little higher? What do you think? Higher than 10? 25, I heard 25. Do you hear higher than 25? You think of a little bit lower? Anybody think higher than 25? 50. Whoa. Do you think we've raised half? 50% would be half? Oh, I'll tell you, it's more than 50%, friends. Whoa. So how much more do you think? What do you think? 80. It's less than 80. So it's less than 75. 70. We have raised 70% already in the quiet phase. So I can't imagine what we're going to do now that we're in the loud phase, friends. We might have to extend this bridge. So luckily we have a lot of space, so we can go up to 200% if we want to. I mean, there's no limit. So, friends, as I said, we're doing things a little differently today. So now I'm going to invite all of us up here who'd like to go out and meet your leaders on the patio for their groups. No, we're skipping that today. Didn't you hear the part about doing things differently?
70% of the way. There. Oh. Lay ministers are available after the service to offer a listening presence. So if you have something on your heart that you would like to share, this morning's lay listener is Chris, who is wearing the yellow scarf over there. Do we have someone giving a tour this morning? Oh, Boone, wonderful. So if you would like to see some of the many gems of this beautiful campus, you can do that right after worship. Boone will meet you right up here after the postlude and take you on a tour of this campus. Our Dining for Dollars bidding continues. Everything is online, so you can go to our website, firstusandiego.org, and look for Dining for Dollars under the Giving tab. And if you need help today, you can go into Bard Hall and see one of our bidding experts after worship at the Dining for Dollars table. They will have devices ready to help you bid on these fabulous events and services. Thank you so much. I also want to just remind you that I'm going to be starting a new Wisdom Circle in person on campus here on the 4th Thursday of the month at 7 o'clock starting this month, May 28th. For more information, you can contact me, but I would love to have you join us in that Wisdom Circle. One of the ways that we live our values is by sharing our offering with local organizations that work for justice. Our generosity offering today is being shared with Grid Alternative San Diego. All of those programs point to the same triple bottom line: people, planet, and employment. They work in communities across San Diego to make solar power and solar jobs accessible to those that need them most. You can support this important work through cash or check in the boxes at the middle level of our meeting house, or you can text the number on your screen, 73256, with text to donate, all one word, or you can scan the QR code on the screen. Thank you so much for your generosity. The morning offering will now be joyfully given and gratefully received. Thank you so much, Phil. That was so beautiful. One last announcement from Phoebe.
Hi, y'all. You probably don't know me because I've only been coming here for a few months, but I'm really good friends with Lily Brock, and we're starting a project. So she had to step out, but I'm just going to talk a little bit about my little spiel. As a collaboration with the Burrito Project, we're creating care packages for unhoused people in Chula Vista and downtown. And we need your help. So if you're willing and able, please donate items such as clean socks, individually packaged snacks, hygiene products, small toys for children, to the donation box on the patio, which will be available next week. And we would love your help in putting together these care packages. We have dates and times in the white and orange flyer in your order of service. And yeah, so come. Children are welcome and encouraged. Thank you so much for your support and for Reverend Justine for letting us make this announcement.
Thank you, Phoebe. Wonderful.
Well, last night, I got a call that my dear friend, mentor, and really profound human being, Jean Houston, passed yesterday afternoon. Many of you probably read many of Jean's works over the years, and I was privileged to be one of the co-chairs of the first phase of her capital campaign. So it felt very sad to hear that Jean had passed, and I lit a candle for her, and I encourage you to go online and read some of Jean's works. One of my favorite quotes of hers is, "We all have the extraordinary coded within us waiting to be released." She was really an amazing mentor and dear friend, and I will miss her. So Reverend Rosemary Bray McNatt who was the president of Starr King School of Ministry in Berkeley from 2014 until last year, is a prominent Unitarian Universalist leader, author, mentor, and former editor of the New York Times Book Review. And during her time at Starr King, she led the school through numerous significant transitions, and I found her writings and her speeches during those transitions to be incredibly inspiring. So today, I want to share one of them with you, entitled The Work of Our Palms. We are not here to merely occupy space. We are here to be the architects of a grace we have not yet fully seen. We stand today on the breath of those who dreamed us into being, those who planted trees whose shade they knew they would never sit under. As we stand at this threshold, let us ask, what shall we do with the strength of our hands? Shall we clench them in fear of what we might lose? Or shall we open them wide to let go of the weights that no longer serve us and to catch the light of the world that is waiting to be born? Let us build not just for the survival of walls, but for the liberation of the spirit. For when we build in love, we are never just building for ourselves. We are building a home for the hope of the world.
A few words while the choir gets set up. In addition to everything else we're doing today, today is the International Day Against Homophobia, Transphobia, and Biphobia. And so as part of our work as a welcoming congregation, we honor those days throughout the year, which is why we chose this next piece for the handbells. It's called Transitions of the Heart. Matthew Compton was commissioned to compose it in 2021 by two parents in honor of their two transgender children. And he uses music theory to tell the story of what it might feel like to transition. And in order to really appreciate what I think is the brilliant way he does that, you really need to see what's happening on the page. And so I'd like to do something I've never done with the handbells up here before, and that is to give you a little music theory tour of the piece before we play it. So let's look at the next slide. It starts in D flat. That is a complicated key. There are 5 flats, but you won't necessarily hear the complexity because it starts with just chords, and then this very simple melody comes up at the top. This is sort of the early stages of life, the sense of a personhood just emerging. Let's look at the next one. After establishing the melody, we get something new. It's driving and more insistent, and the melody reestablishes itself up top. Now we're at an age when one's sense of being a sexual being starts to emerge. On the next one. And then we hear this counter melody in the middle. You can see the sort of triangle notes in the middle of the page. It's played on the chimes rather than the bells for extra contrast, and for the first time, we have some accidentals, notes that aren't in the key signature. So something is clearly emerging, something different on the inside. Let's look at the next one. And then we hear those chords and melody from the beginning again, as if the piece is trying to go back to what it used to be. But this time it's marked timid instead of innocently. So that attempt to go back to what one was isn't working. Let's look at the next one. And from here out, things, as you can see on that page, get more and more intense and complex. That insistent driving part comes back again. The initial melody jumps an octave and is embellished as if it's trying really hard. And then we get the most important accidental note of the piece. First in the bells, and then in that chime counter melody, we get a C flat. So if you're familiar with the piano keyboard, you'll know that C and F are the only two white keys that don't have a black key to their left. So that means C flat is the same note as B natural. But for some really complicated music theory reasons, you need to call it C flat. And that just makes things even more complicated. And to make it even more complicated, the D and the E notes that usually get played in the treble clef, that's just the way they write bell music, jump to the bass clef. This convention is just there, and it just makes it even more confusing to play. Let's look at that next slide. And that complexity just continues and intensifies until it works itself out by changing to the key of G flat, which has 6 flats instead of 5. And as you might have guessed, the flat we've added to the key signature is C flat. So if you're following the symbolism of all of this, that C flat, that note that could be one thing but also another thing, and was sort of standing out, it was not in the key signature, has now been integrated into the key. And that's how the piece resolves, by integrating that inner conflict into itself. All of that inner complexity has been incorporated in a way that works. Let's look at the next one. And then the piece almost starts over again. And this time, it works. Let's look at the last one. And finally, on this last page, you're going to hear what to your ear will sound like that beginning simple part again. But look at what's happening on the page, especially those time signatures. 5/4, 4/4, 6/4, a measure of 2/4 where nothing's happening. The meter is complex, but now the melody navigates that complexity in a way that will sound relaxed and at peace with itself. And then on the last measure, we get this simple chord where the notes are the same for the bell and the chime, and they're playing it together in unison, as if the person has come together and is completely at peace with themselves. I just think it's brilliant to see on the page, and I think that, my friends, is how you tell a story with music theory. So I hope you appreciate it as much listening to it as I appreciate looking at it. This is Transitions of the Heart.
We can go home now. Wow. Tony and friends, that was phenomenal. That Tony guy, I tell you, we all know, he's multi-talented and he made that bridge. Can you believe it? We told him there was a bridge theme, and of course, Tony came through. So, anyway. As many of you know, my husband John and I have spent the last several weeks in the thin space between two lives. Excuse me. We spent the thin space between two lives. Packing up 33 years of memories in Washington to return home to San Diego. I guess you can tell it was emotional. The emotional departure from our Harstein Island retreat was made easier by knowing that we're going to be just a few miles from our son and grandkids and all of you dear friends here at the church. As we taped up those final boxes, the air was filled with the scent of that life. The damp aroma of our favorite cedar trees, and the salt spray breeze off Puget Sound. In the landscape of the soul, these scents are anchors. But even anchors must be lifted if the ship is going to find the next horizon, right? Well, physical transition, we discovered, makes us look very carefully at transitions differently. We had to ask each other, what do we carry and what must we leave behind? And we realized that to move into a renewed life here with all of you, we had to be intentional. Debt, my friends, is like a box of heavy stones that you've been lugging around for years. It's time to unpack those stones so we can carry forward the mission instead. Well, when Reverend Justine and the board asked me if I'd chair our capital campaign, I eagerly stepped forward. I honestly can say that of all the campaigns I've managed over the past 40 years, this was my favorite one that I enjoyed the most because I'm clear as I watch this congregation that the energy we have right now is vibrant. And unlike the other campaigns that I had advised, being a member here and knowing firsthand the gift that this church has been in our family's life has made this so much more meaningful to me. The Irish poet John O'Donohue wrote, "Awaken your spirit to adventure. Hold nothing back. Learn to find ease in risk." Oh, I like that part. Learn to find ease in risk. Soon you will be home in a new rhythm, for your soul senses the world that awaits you. For your soul senses the world that awaits you. I believe our soul senses the world that awaits this church. For 151 years, this congregation has been a beacon of progressive thought, values, and action. But today, we are at a threshold. We are moving from a season of debt and dependence to a future of liberation and leadership. Leadership, by the way, desperately needed by anxious neighbors searching for a community of pluralism, equity, justice, all centered in love. They aren't looking for a club. They are looking for a place where they can breathe finally into the depths of themselves. That is our gift as Unitarian Universalists, my friends. And have you noticed? Look around on Sundays. In recent months, many new faces have been showing up here among us. Our energy field is expanding forward in dynamic new ways. And this isn't just growth, this is transformation. We are being changed by one another even as we change the world going forward. But before we look ahead, we must look at the ground beneath our feet. I am particularly mindful today of the presence of our dear friend Alice Diamond. Alice, we are so grateful that you're here with us. And I hope you know, because we certainly do, that you are a uniquely wise and colorful thread in the strong fabric of this community's tapestry. And we're so grateful. Thank you. Friends, when we talk about the Doug Diamond Memorial Capital Campaign, we aren't just naming a project. We are honoring a spirit. Doug understood that debt is a form of weight, a tether that keeps a vibrant community from soaring. He dreamed of a day when this church wouldn't be working to pay back a bank, but instead working to build a movement even stronger than the one that had nurtured him for 36 years. I'll never forget my last conversation with Doug out in the parking lot after a meeting. He said, "We need to pay off that burdensome mortgage, Craig, because we have so many more important things to occupy our creative attention." Think about that. What could we do with our creative attention if it wasn't occupied by interest rates and bank statements? Because of Doug's dream, as you heard, we've been, over the last few months, in the quiet phase of this campaign, reaching out to those who could build a foundation under which this public launch happens today. During this time, I was privileged to meet with 10 families, and I cannot begin to describe the joy I experienced in those conversations, hearing their personal stories of how this church had changed their lives and how deeply this community is impacting their journey still, was a profound thing and a reminder of why we do this work here. And I'm thrilled to share the extremely exciting momentum they created. These 10 families have already stepped forward with campaign commitments totaling $1.4 million. And they are challenging us to walk across this bridge with them and share our personal stories too along the way. Now, let's look at the math of our liberation. Our mortgage stands at $1,365,000. This means that as these commitments are fulfilled, we can clearly see the shore. We are on a direct path toward our June 14th annual meeting, where we intend to officially burn that mortgage. But think about the energy currently trapped in that debt. We are donating $75,000 a year in interest to a bank that doesn't need it, when we could be investing in a world that does. In spiritual terms, that interest is a leak in our vessel, friends. It is energy intended for healing that is instead being used to service the past. So what could we do with that $75,000 instead? Well, think about it. It's a salary of a beloved staff person. It's a leap forward in our climate justice initiatives or our food pantry. It's the ability to say yes to a radical new program that you may be imagining right now without first checking a bank balance. That's why when we retire this debt, we aren't just changing a ledger. We are releasing that energy back into our mission. That, my friends, is the definition of liberation. But Doug's dream wasn't just to reach zero. It was to reach freedom, or our creative attention, as he phrased it. To fund our future, we have set a goal of $2 million. $1.4 million already committed is our foundation, but to reach our full vision, to truly secure our sustainable future, we need to raise an additional $600,000. And that's where we all come in. This bridge rests on 3 pillars. The first pillar of this structure is the foundation. By retiring debt and replenishing reserves that we've been tapping, we are choosing to replace passive income we can't control with active investment that we do control. We want our new settled minister to discover in us a thriving, debt-free, unburdened home, unburdened of the ghosts from the past, and free to look forward with a clear heart and lead us. We're like the person in that fable who plants a carob tree they will never taste, saying, I found trees because those before me planted them, so I plant these for those who come after. The second pillar is the bridge itself, our spiritual experience. In our Unitarian Universalist tradition, we often speak of the interdependent web of all existence. This isn't just some lofty theological concept. It is a structural reality. If one strand of the web is frayed, or if one part of that bridge is unreachable, the entire structure loses its integrity. We believe a bridge must be crossable by everyone, or it's simply not a bridge. This is why we are investing deeply, as Justine mentioned, in our digital front door, in our physical accessibility, in our tradition we find holy in how we hear one another's stories. When we upgrade our assisted listening systems and our website, we are performing an act of spiritual inclusion. Radical hospitality, my friends, means that whether you find us online with a hearing aid or a wheelchair, the bridge is level, the sound is clear, and the welcome is felt. By fixing our sound, our sightlines, and our technology, we ensure that when a seeker walks in, broken, hopeful, or searching, they never have to struggle to find us here. This is interdependence made visible. It is the realization of justice in our physical space. To illustrate this commitment, I've been thinking about a poem my father used to use all the time in his public speeches. It's called The Bridge Builder. And it tells of an old man who crosses a vast, difficult chasm, and once safe on the other side, stops to build a bridge back over the tide. When asked why he wastes his time and strength building a path that he's already gone over and will never cross again, he replies, "Good friend, in the path I have come, there followeth after me today a youth whose feet must pass this way. He too must cross in the twilight dim. Good friend, I am building the bridge for him." Our campus, my friends, must reflect our radical hospitality now. We can't wait. Just like that old man, so our path is clear for those new folks and seekers who show up. Well, finally, our third pillar of the bridge is the vision, the far side of the shore. Hebrews 11 tells us that faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. This campaign funds the blueprints of our dreams, the architectural and legal expertise required as we wisely prepare for the changes that are happening to us, that are so thoughtfully being guided by the Our Sustainable Future team. This ensures that our church home, whether here or elsewhere, serves our mission for the next 150 years. But this isn't just about a legacy for the future. It is about our capacity right now. By clearing this path, we are unlocking the doors of our own potential. We are moving from a posture of just getting by to a posture of boldly being, allowing us to fully inhabit and widely share our Unitarian Universalist principles, which are so desperately needed right now in our broken nation. The donors of the quiet phase have paved the first 70% of the bridge, but a bridge that stops short of the shore is only a pier. That won't work for us. To reach the future that is calling us, we need the hands and hearts of this entire community to lay the planks, the final planks on that bridge. Through the Betsy Stevens Memorial and Leadership Challenges, which you can read about in your bulletin today, the momentum is already beneath us, but it requires the weight of our shared commitment to carry us all the way across. Whether your gift is $25, $250, or $25,000, there is no small offering in the architecture of love, my friends. We are seeking a consensus of commitment. Your participation is the seal of approval this vision needs. It is our outward sign of an inward grace. When you contribute to this campaign over and above your annual pledge, you are not just balancing a ledger. You are signing your name to the covenant of our future. By laying your plank with intention, you are saying, I believe in this church. I believe in this bridge. I believe in this love. At our annual meeting on June 14th, when we stand together having reached our goal, we are going to burn that mortgage. We're going to have a ceremony and burn the mortgage. I can hardly wait. When we smell that smoke, it will be the scent of freedom, my friends. Compare that scent to the scent of the past, the dust of old boxes and heavy dampness of things carried far too long. In many ancient traditions, smoke carries our prayers upward. This smoke, let it be a prayer of gratitude for what has been and the rising signal of our collective strength. We aren't just burning paper, we are clearing the air so we can finally breathe in the future. The mystic Rumi said, "Love is the bridge between you and everything. Love is the bridge between you and everything." Let us be that bridge. Let us move together into a future where our only debt is the one we owe to love, a debt we pay through our justice, our equity, and our radical generosity. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.
Now please rise and by your spirit, join me in singing hymn 1017. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. Feeling strong every day. We are building a new way.
Y'all are doing some wonderful singing this morning. Sounds great. Our closing words come from the book of Deuteronomy as adapted by Unitarian Universalist minister, the Reverend Dr. Peter Rabel. We build on foundations we did not lay. We warm ourselves at fires we did not light. We sit in the shade of trees we did not plant. We drink from wells we did not dig. We profit from persons we did not know. We are ever bound in community. Go in peace, my friends, and let us gather next door in Bard Hall for a wonderful meal of celebration. Amen.